the total package here comes to roughly $6 trillion, $2 trillion direct assistance, roughly $4 trillion in Federal Reserve lending power. Again, it'll be the largest Main Street financial package in the history of the United States. Liquidity and cash for families, small business, individuals, unemployed, to keep this thing going.
Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. As you just heard Larry Kudlow, their famous economist, saying that we're now going to be pumping out $6 trillion. I should say the U.S. Federal Reserve will be doing that to help stimulate the economy, to help offer relief in this time of crisis. It is hump day, everybody. Hope you're having a good one. We'll take a look at that and other news related to the Fed printing trillions after trillions after trillions of dollars. Let's first take a snapshot look at the market on coinmarketcap.com. $183 billion at the time of this recording. Things down 1 or 2% on the day right now. Bitcoin at $6,560. Projects are generally following Bitcoin's lead, which is down 1.81% on the day right now, with the dominance, however, still high, 65.5%. Here we have this tweet courtesy of CBS News from yesterday, the 24th of March. National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow says the coronavirus package will be $6 trillion. We discussed $1 trillion. We discussed $2 trillion. Seemingly, I missed it myself. Maybe it's my mistake, but I seem to have missed $4 trillion. Now, all of a sudden, we're at 6. Let's listen into what Mr. Kudlow has to say.
That fund, by the way, will be overseen by an oversight board and an inspector general. It will be completely transparent. So the total package here comes to roughly $6 trillion, $2 trillion direct assistance, roughly $4 trillion in Federal Reserve lending power. Again, it'll be the largest Main Street financial package in the history of the United States. Liquidity and cash for families, small business, individuals, unemployed, to keep this thing going. We're heading for a rough period, but it's only going to be weeks, we think. Weeks, months, not going to be years, that's for sure. And hopefully pave the way for continued economic recovery after this crisis.
So $6 trillion is now the figure that we're working with. Many people, as you can see, are doing a little bit of preliminary math. $6 trillion, 327.2 million people in the US. If you do a little bit of arithmetic, that division brings you to actually over $18,000 per US citizen. And my understanding is that this is going to be allocated on a sliding scale, so not everybody will necessarily even get funding. So technically that figure could be higher than 18,000. Is it going to be that efficient where it's just a clean division? I very much doubt it. A lot of this money is going to go to different organizations. Aid and relief organizations is my understanding. I'm no expert, but it shows you how much $6 trillion really is. If you do just the straight math, over $18,000 per citizen. However, it's not quite that simple. It never is. As we've been discussing lately, the only true value that money represents, fiat currency, since it's no longer backed by any kind of gold standard or other precious metal or anything, really. You could argue that the US dollar, the US currency, is backed by petroleum, but that's a whole other discussion. So as I was just kind of trying to allude to, we've been discussing lately that the only real thing that backs currency right now is labor, and that's what gives it value. The fact that you have to put in hours and hours and hours, and in some cases, many hundreds of thousands of hours over the course of your life, you put that into your job and then you pay it forward with taxes. So really, taxation represents a fraction of your life in terms of working hours that you are sacrificing to basically prop up the value of a currency. And I'm not disparaging the system, but that is what gives it value per se. So the Fed can print as much money as it wants. Really, it's not going to make a difference in terms of the value of that currency, of those dollars at the end of the day. And here you have Jelena McWilliams that is making an appeal to American citizens not to basically stage a run on the banks during these times of economic uncertainty. It's a pattern that has played out many times in countries all across the world in times of financial hyperinflation, in times of economic uncertainty. We've seen it in Zimbabwe. We've seen it in Venezuela, the Weimar Republic. Altcoin Buzz here tweeting, don't take your money from the banks. When this individual, so this specifically is from the FDIC Gov Twitter account, forget the mattress. Keeping large sums of cash at home is risky, and the best place to protect your money is an FDIC insured bank where it's safe and sound. Learn how the FDIC safeguards your money at FDIC.gov. fdi.gov/deposit. The FDIC insured part suggests that even if a bank were to go completely under, your funds are guaranteed as part of the legal insurance that banks are obliged to abide by. Not exactly an encouraging message, however, to be told by somebody from this organization that no, you don't have to stage a run on the banks. What are you talking about? No problem. We're in perfect shape. If that were the case, I very much doubt we'd be receiving this message from Yelena, or Miss McWilliams, I should say. And the fact that this is coinciding, again, with the crisis that we're all experiencing, with the Federal Reserve that's now printing $6 trillion worth of money, worth of U.S. currency, that is going to certainly add to the dilution of the existing circulating supply of money. And that will happen through the mechanism of inflation, certainly. Let's take a look here on cryptobriefing.com. Will the Fed's easy money flow to Bitcoin? That is a possibility. All things considered, we have been discussing the fact that we are witnessing at least perhaps the beginning of this decoupling. Markets have, done poorly over the course really of these last few weeks, and Bitcoin followed their lead kind of immediately because of that liquidity crunch that we've discussed now several times. But, with the exception of today, today's not a horrible day, down 1.81%, but we have seen sort of a decoupling when it comes to Bitcoin's movement versus the rest of the more traditional markets. So with these trillions of dollars now flowing into the system, how will that affect the cryptocurrency scene? Well, the government and Treasury nearly confirmed a $1.6 to $2 trillion fiscal stimulus plan. $1.6 to $2 trillion, that is, now make that $6 trillion. American stocks recorded their highest daily gain since 1933 in the news. That occurred yesterday. The Dow Jones up over 2,000 points, the highest ever single day hike. The question must be asked, therefore, is Bitcoin's uptick also trading on the same information? Cryptocurrency analysts are hard at work debating the effects of the latest quantitative easing on Bitcoin, QE being the printing of money by the Federal Reserve. Some speculate that financial institutions holding low-cost money may turn to Bitcoin. Alex Kruger commenting here with a little bit of skepticism. Remember how the Fed, quote, printing money was supposed to make Bitcoin prices explode higher? Quantitative easing is rocket fuel. Fantastic narrative. Bitcoin, however, is down 30% since the Fed started expanding its balance sheet in August. Big facts. So unfortunately, as it stands today, institutions do not seem to be betting on Bitcoin to do any better than their favorite stocks. And furthermore, if the global economy enters a recession, investors are not likely to allocate capital to risk assets in the near term, even with the extra stimulus. I tend to agree with that. You could take a look at this article in full for the full, more nuanced breakdown. But if this is indeed crisis relief aid, right, the $6 trillion that's being allocated really for financial crisis purposes. There's a very telling statistic that I've heard many times now, and I can't necessarily vouch for its veracity, but I believe it to be true. It's one of those things that you hear so many times, you're not really sure where it originates from. But I've heard told many times now that the average American cannot absorb a cost, an unexpected cost of $400. In other words, we tend to live so much from paycheck to paycheck, and we're such an indebted people as a society that a $400 expense out of nowhere, maybe that's your muffler breaking down on your car, maybe that's an unexpected healthcare expense, whatever it may be, that is often too much for the average person to handle. They don't know how they'd be able to handle an unexpected cost of $400. So I don't necessarily think that the average person certainly is going to be investing in Bitcoin if they see some of that Federal Reserve money coming into their hands. I think it's probably going to go into other things because people are certainly hurting. You guys know my opinion about this kind of stuff. I think we live very irresponsibly. As a society, I think everybody should have months and months and months of salary saved up in their rainy day fund just in case. But that's me. I'm a little bit harsh. I'm a little bit jaded. I'll leave it to you to decide how you run your life. Here on Forbes.com, will Bitcoin emerge as a winner? 5 quick things to expect. One way or the other, and in no particular order, we can expect to see extreme price volatility. We've already seen that in the cryptocurrency market. We've seen it, I think, more than ever now in the traditional market, in the traditional Wall Street scene and the financial sector. We can also expect to see Bitcoin resilience. If you have a long-term perspective, then you're not really necessarily afraid of the 5, 10, 15% downturns, the 24-hour flash crashes, because I think you'll agree that over the long term, things things will balance out. If you have that perspective, you have nothing to worry about. Another thing to expect here, bulls to buy up Bitcoin lows. As always, you got to be fearful when others are greedy, but you have to be greedy when others are fearful. And that's how fortunes are made. Fortunes are made when you're able to buy up assets for pennies on the dollar when blood is running in the streets. You also can expect the fact that Bitcoin prices could be bolstered by closed economies. You have all kinds of economies that unfortunately are faltering at the international level. And then domestically, of course, you have economies within industries, specifically hospitality industries that are suffering. I'm thinking about hotels, I'm thinking about aviation, and of course, cruise line. And finally, what you can expect, according to Forbes.com, is that Bitcoin prices may not rise during the halving. We really are experiencing kind of a black swan event right now. It's unprecedented. I don't necessarily think now that we can look to historical data to predict the future. And the halving kind of may come and go and may not have any kind of a pronounced impact on prices or charts immediately for some time. I'm kind of in agreement with this in particular more than any of the other points that are made in this article. Let's now run down a couple of quick opinions to end things for today. Jeff Kurdikis says the new stimulus package in the USA is $6 trillion. $6 trillion, as we mentioned before, divided by 350 million Americans is over $17,000 per person, including a little bit of a higher denominator here with 350 as opposed to 327. Either way, however you slice it up, it's a lot of money. Yet they are giving out $1,200 per person. Who is really benefiting here? As I alluded to earlier, it's completely unlikely that it's going to be distributed efficiently. This is going to, of course, a lot of organizations, a lot of, unfortunately, government bodies that are going to be, in some cases justifiably needing some of those funds, but don't expect that to fall right into the pockets of the average American citizen. Switching gears a little bit here, crypto.com at crypto.com. 7 days to go till the next event on the syndicate with BCH Bitcoin Cash at 50% off. Get ready to participate. You got to sign up for crypto.com, the exchange, if you haven't already. You can stake CRO and subscribe at 6 a.m. UTC on the 31st of March. Details can be found here if you're interested in Bitcoin Cash. Again, BCH 50% off. You have until the 31st of March. Also, some exciting news here from crypto.com. Their crypto.com Pay launches merchant invoicing. Create invoices and your customer can pay in crypto. Details also available on blog.crypto.com. Pay with CRO, hashtag CryptoComPay. And last but not least, at Altcoin Buzz IO tweeting that finally we are starting an interview segment on the channel. So we'd like to crowdsource your collective wisdom. We want to hear from you members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Who exactly should we interview? Tag them in the comments below. You can either tweet at us, you can reply to us on Twitter, or you can leave your thoughts in the comments below of this YouTube video. Let us know your thoughts. Who would you most like to see us interview? This would be a more long form format. It would be more considered. It would be more conversational in nature. We'd love to hear your feedback on this issue, and we will be considering your suggestions. Well, that about wraps it up for today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications if you've enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think about this whole quantitative easing. $6 trillion. This is unprecedented. The US government, of course, is already $20+ trillion in debt, so I'd love to hear your thoughts, your opinions about this particular issue. Best of luck if you choose to invest on this hump day. Don't forget about our Crypto Tag Zeus Starter Kit giveaway that's happening this Saturday. To participate, you have to be sure you're subscribed to Altcoin Buzz on YouTube. You got to like our videos and you got to comment on our videos. Best of luck in that giveaway. If you choose to participate, you too can be eligible. You may as well be the winner. But have a great one, everybody. And as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.